Hi everyone, it's Rax. I'm bringing you a video that we've been waiting for a long time. This is the Season 28 patch notes that we're going to be testing on the PTR starting on Tuesday. So it starts on the 31st, which means that the season start should either be the 24th or the 3rd. So Season 28 is looking pretty insane. So let's just jump in and cover everything that there is to know about it. And then I will do a follow-up video where I'm going to show you kind of the optimal build for the actual seasonal theme and how to throw everything together. So what is Season 28? Essentially, there is going to be an altar that you go to and you sacrifice things for powers. Okay, you can read all this text, but that's what it is. You go to the altar and you sacrifice things for powers. So now let's open this. So this is what is required for your next offering. So if you sacrifice 10 reusable parts, you'll get an offering, and you can get 1 point to place it into the tree. You have to start with A. Okay, the next offering is going to increase in price, and then you're going to be able to open B or C. Okay, and you keep going down. When you unlock a node, you get it forever. You can unlock all of the nodes. And down here, there are 3 superpowers. You only need to have one of the paths available to get the superpower. And the superpower is going to require a new reagent from Primals. And you're going to see they reworked Primals. So you're going to see that. And another thing is you cannot go backwards. So if I go A, B, E, H, J, N, S, and then I go to R, for example, I cannot go to M because I don't have I. You have to have like the parent node above it to go down, so you can't go backwards. So it actually turns into a little like optimization. So you go here and you look at what does each one cost, and the interesting decision is the 15th one requires a challenge rift cache. Now, this has some interesting implications that I'll talk about here in a second. But you want to unlock it, obviously, as many nodes as possible, as quickly as possible, and then get the primordial ashes from primals to unlock all of the powers, which are funneled into your potion. And so we'll get into that in a little bit. And so, okay, as you go through all of these, as you make these sacrifices, and as you go through all of these things, what powers are you going to be getting? Well, the first one is your kill streak timer and duration and the reward bonus are doubled. This is incredible for leveling up 1 to 70. First of all, it's easier to keep your kill streaks, and the reward bonus is doubled. So you're going to level up 1 to 70 very quickly. Then the next 2 are super important as well. Pools of reflection last for the entire season and are not removed by death. If you looked at my YouTube video a while ago, I had a video called How to Fix Diablo 3. Let me see here. I might have it pulled up here. But I had a video called How to Fix Diablo 3. Yeah, here it is. And we sent this gigantic list to Blizzard of tons of things to fix in the game. A lot of the seasonal theme powers that they're introducing in the game address a lot of these things that were in the document. So it was a cool way for them to test out to see if some of these fixes will make it better. So I appreciate Blizzard reading the document and implementing it. This is one of the things that we said. Pools of reflection suck. You don't know what they are? They're the little yellow mustard pools that you pick up. It gives you extra XP. Without going into too much detail, it's very powerful for high Paragon players, like 3,000 plus, and it's terrible for casuals. Now you get it for the entire season when you pick up one of them. So this normalizes it for everybody. This is a massive, massive buff to casual players. You're going to get 41% extra XP the entire season. And you were not getting it before. I could explain why in great detail. Maybe I will in another video. But trust me, if you're a casual player, you get 41% extra XP. But actually, that's not as powerful as the other choice. Items have no level requirement. I'm going to show you why. So when you start off your season, you're going to have to make an interesting decision. Do you open the challenge rift cache or not? The season starts on a Friday, so you could do the challenge rift after the season starts. Then you either open it to do this tricky stuff that I'm about to show you, or you save it and then you use it to go through your tree. For 90% to 95% of casual players, I think you should use it. Because since you can unlock items have no level requirement very quickly, you can open up your challenge rift cache, level up the blacksmith, and then you go here and you just go highest usable and you make a bow, a quiver, and then maybe you have enough to make like 5 yellow pieces. And all of a sudden, at an insanely low level, once you find 1 diamond on the ground, either from a goblin or a treasure chest, because it requires it from the little seasonal buff, you are an absolute god. You don't have to do any of the other tricky stuff that we used to do where you roll for reduced level requirement and craft this specific thing. You just straight up just craft 1 level 70 item and you can just equip them. So what that means is, if you're a casual player and you use the challenge rift cache, you can level up in the blink of an eye. You can probably level up in 30 minutes, even if you're not a good leveler. I'll, of course, have demonstrations that will show you exactly how this works. Or you could save it to try to maximize the full tree in less than 3 days. Unless you're going for like the ultimate rank 1 clear, like 24 hours into the season. I just don't think you should do that. I think you should use the challenge rift cache. I'm sure I will have a video explaining it in greater detail. Anyway, as we go down further, you get 200 damage, 25 move speed forever. You just move faster the whole season. More damage to elites. You get a stacking shield. That's amazing. And before I forget, one thing you might be wondering, with these shields and with shield pylons, and we have to use our powers with our potions. How are we going to potion if we have a shield pylon? Or how are we going to potion if you have full health? They changed it. You can now potion at full health, so thank God. There are some really important ones here. M doubles the amount of DBs that drop. It should stack with sages. We'll test it on the PTR. N is very interesting. Critical hits grant resource. Wizards have a talent where it's arcane power on crit. You crit and you get your arcane power back. Now this is for every class. You can just keep building resources. So maybe something for like the Raycore Barb. This is insane, where you can just replenish your resources instantly and then dump them all by throwing boulders or something like that. Could be godly for some builds. Doubles bounty caches. Remember, in part of our document, we complained about bounty caches. They suck. Bounties suck. Now you get double the caches. Progress orbs from Nephilim and Greater Rifts are automatically picked up. Wow. There are some end game pushing where you don't want to pick them all up, where you're trying to like spawn a specific pylon and stuff, where this could actually hurt you. But for 99% of players, this is just a great thing. More damage, reduced damage taken. Immune to crowd control. This is incredible for necromancers and wizards. They get crowd control by everything. Not anymore, not next season. Gain passability. No one hates Waller more than me. No one's been more outspoken about Waller than I have. This is illusory boots. You can just walk straight through walls now. Thank God. Pets pick up DBs. This was the #1 request in our D3 feedback thing in our quality of life. Make pets auto pick up DBs, crafting materials, and gems. Blizzard did us one better than that. Pets pick up and salvage common, magic, and rare items. That is unbelievable. All the trash on the ground that you're normally running over, that you're like, you don't want to pick up a whole inventory full of yellows and salvage it. Your pets pick them up and instantly salvage them for you. Wow. Now you might think, well, early on, we might want to use some rare items while we're leveling, right? Remember, you're not going to get this power until you're level 70. You can't get it until you're 70 based upon the costs. So you won't need yellows at that point. So it's perfectly fine. Kadala drops has double the chance to give you good stuff. Thank God. Elite packs drop an additional orb. This is so insane. This means if you open up a good Festering Woods or a good Fields of Misery with a couple pylons, you can clear a Greater Rift on one floor. There's going to be a lot of one floor clears with this power in the game. Then the potion powers. When you drink a health potion, it summons rings that either give you more damage, cooldown reduction, or RCR. This is the triune seasonal theme from, I don't know, whenever, 10 seasons ago. This is one of the powers that they give you. All enemies deal 25% less damage. This potion power kind of sucks. And this, when you drink your health potion, you have a chance to gain a random shrine or a pylon effect. Can you imagine if you drink your potion, and by the way, you get all of these powers into your potion. Like you drink it, you get all of these available. Can you imagine if you get the increased damage ring to drop, overlapping with an Oculus, and there's, let's say, a power pylon that you click, and let's say your random pylon effect is a speed pylon. So you have speed, power, the power ring, and an Oculus. You could kill a boss in like 2 seconds. And when you see the Oculus spawn, you'll drink your potion, pray that the increased damage ring overlaps, step in it, and nuke down the rift. It's going to be pretty interesting. When you have unlocked everything in the entire tree, you get 2 primals every time a primal drops. And now there's a primal rework that is going to make it even better, which we'll get to in a second. So here's all the costs. I mean, the costs just go up. Reusable parts, some materials, a Greater of Key, some bounty stuff. Remember, you have double bounties, so you'll be able to get the bounty stuff. Stuff from the Ubers. You kill Malthael, you craft Reaper's Wraps. Okay, you have to do a GR60 to have 1100 blood shards. That's fine. That's easy to do. Petrified Scream, you find one of those, you sacrifice it. Okay, you have to do a Petrified Scream and get a level 125. That's very easy. Just watch my Echoing Nightmare video. Anybody can get this. Just watch my Echoing Nightmare video. Never-ending questions is something from set dungeons. I really hope they change this. I hate doing set dungeons, but might have to do that. Remember the challenge of cash. Do you save it or do you use it? 99% of you should be using it at the start. So you'll get the Challenger of Cash on Monday. Then you'll turn this in to unlock the rest of the tree. Give them an ancient puzzle ring and a bunch of materials. That's fine. You have to make the Staff of Hurting. That's good. You have to augment a weapon. You have to find any ancient weapon and know how to augment it. You augment it with the Whisper of Atonement, so that should be easy. Excuse me. And then to unlock the different potions, you need the Primordial Ashes. For if you unlock everything, they give you these glowing Diablo wings. So that's going to be really sick. A lot of people are going to want these, so you get the Wings of Terror. Now, what have they done with primals? So the text here does not properly convey what's happening. So at the blacksmith, you salvage a primal for 55 primordial ashes. By the way, just to clarify up here, in order to get your first potion power unlocked, you need to spend 1 primal, and then 2, and then 3. Okay, so you're going to need to find 6 primals in the season to get absolutely everything. Don't worry if there are some casual players out there that say, I never find 6 primals in my life. I'll show you a build and a method to find it very easily. It won't be too bad. Don't worry about it. Especially because, remember, you're going to have all these powers helping you. This is going to be maybe one of the strongest characters you've ever had in this game. So you'll be able to farm it pretty easily. So if you're worried about it, don't worry about it. And if you're still worried about it, maybe I'll do some community days where we just farm together, and every primal I find, I'll just drop for you so you can get it. Anyway, back to the primal features. So you salvage it into this dust, and 100 dust, so essentially for 2 primals, you can make a primal ancient item. Use 100 dust for ashes, and then whatever legendary item you want, you can't craft it. So an Ingeom, an Echoing Fury, a Convention of Elements, a Squirt's Necklace, and then you make it primal. Okay, so your first thought, if you think about this, would be, this is way too overpowered. You can get 2 shitty primals and then just make a primal of what you want. That's overpowered as hell. It isn't. The reason why is you can only equip 1 of these crafted primals. Your whole character can wear as many primals as you can find, but you can only wear 1 of these crafted primals just like it was in the Sanctified season. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're starting off the season and you have a really shitty weapon. So you might say, okay, I found 2 shitty primals and I have a shitty weapon. So I'm going to use my shitty weapon, salvage my 2 primals, and I'm going to make it into a primal ancient Ingeom. And then you're blasting. Well, you find 2 more shitty primals, you salvage them, and then you find a really, really good Ingeom. You find one, just a really good ancient. You say, well, okay, I don't really need to use the primal Ingeom that I crafted anymore because I can only wear one of them. But my convention of elements really sucks. So now I'm going to use it to make a primal COE, put that on until I find a really good COE, and then you can craft something else. So it's not overpowered. You can only have one of them. It's a pretty cool way to fix it. It's similar to the previous season, which worked very well. And it's almost exactly the exact same idea that I had in my video on how to fix Primal Ancients that I released, I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago, whenever it was. So I actually like this. It doesn't seem overpowered. It's easy for casuals to use. You only have to find 2 primals, and then you can make a primal of what you need. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good solution all around, if you ask me. Now let's get to the skill changes. Essentially, to summarize them quickly, we're going to have to test them on the PTR. Raiment Monk is getting a big buff. First of all, everything is lasting for 10 seconds instead of 3. And they really buffed, I think it was Deadly Reach. Each enemy hit with the 3rd hit increases your damage by 15%. And then all of these combined with all of these different generators should make Raiment a lot better. We're going to have to test and see exactly how much better it really is. Then there were, let me skip Barb for a second. Let's go to Demon Hunter. They seem to have made a completely new build, a Spike Trap build. So enemies are going to run to the spike traps. They do way more damage. Each blast from the spike traps damages all enemies and does more damage. Your spike trap does more damage. Hitting an enemy summons a spike trap if it's on your bar, and every spike trap detonation restores 1 discipline. That's insane. So if this is how this works, you can just hit enemies with like multi-shot. Hit the whole map with multi-shot. Then it spawns spike traps automatically for you. And every time it gets hit, it restores discipline, which means you can vault around everywhere, spam your abilities. So this is like an auto-generating Ultima trap build. Gives you massive damage reduction. The Natalia's bonus gives you way more damage. Each consecutive blast deals more damage. Gives me like Tal Rasha vibes, honestly. So this could be, we'll have to see how powerful it actually is. This could be one of the absolute best builds in the entire game. This auto-generating spike trap blasting infinite discipline build. So Natalia's is looking pretty crazy. Then for everything else, I can summarize it pretty easily. Barb Frenzy, Patterns of Justice Monk, Raiment. Well, we'll have to test Raiment. Bone Spear and the Typhon's Veil Wizard. Excuse me. I looked at the numbers on all this and I did all the math on this, and it looks like they've moved pretty much all of these builds around A tier. So Frenzy, Hydro Wizard, Bone Spear, probably Raiment Monk. Unhallowed Essence got a massive buff. It's going to be super good. The multi-shot build, going to be really, really good next season. So they're bringing a lot of the solo builds in the B tier and in the C tier that people like, and they're moving it up to A tier. So then one thing you might notice, and everybody noticed this on stream, a lot of people complained. We mentioned it to Blizzard. We'll see if they do anything. There was nothing for Crusaders and nothing for Witch Doctors here. And Crusaders and Witch Doctors are 2 of the absolute worst classes. So that's a big miss. So let's see if they buff some of the Crusader builds and some of the Witch Doctor builds. But that's definitely a miss here, and I think they're probably the 2 worst classes right now. So that's something that we have asked for. So anyway, the PTR starts on Tuesday. I'm going to be blasting it. I'm going to teach you guys everything about it. We're going to test the Raiment Monk. We're going to test the new Spike Trap DH. And we'll give our feedback. We're going to build everything out. I'm going to release another video tomorrow, and I'll just give you a sneak peek here. I put all of the important powers that you get into this screenshot. And I theory crafted this for hours with my stream about exactly what path you would take and why to have like an optimal start for the season. I'll explain it in another video in case if you don't care to watch it, then you don't have to suffer through it. If you want to watch it, then, well, it'll be the next video coming up. And I'm going to explain to you, I just theory crafted this without trying it. So I can't claim it's the optimal way to do it. But it's definitely one of the godliest ways to move through this tree so you can absolutely destroy in Season 28. Okay, so that's it for this video. That's it for these patch notes. I'd love to hear what you think. What would you give this seasonal theme out of 10? What would you give all these changes? What about the Primal rework? What about, them moving a lot of the shitty builds to around A tier? Are you excited for next season? This is probably going to be the final one before Diablo 4. I hope to see you guys and all the YouTube videos that I'm going to release, obviously. But also, I hope that I see you on the PTR on Tuesday and, of course, on the Season 28 launch. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one for the full map of how you would move through the seasonal tree. Thank you.